Good morning, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Wednesday morning, October 7th. A little different look this morning. We're looking at the overnight of the SPY ETF market profile here on Window Trader. So from right here, this is from 4 o'clock and 1 second to 8 p.m. at night. And this is from 6 o'clock in the morning until where we're trading now. And as you can see, we are making new highs in the pre-market session. Volume is 750,000, so not bad considering yesterday's was pretty light at 9:30. We're already up to 750,000. We'll see what happens at 8:30. So remember, we had a double distribution day. So just quickly, I'm going to show you where we are. So here's the overnight. Here's yesterday. We briefly took out the low from yesterday, from the overnight, and now we're firmly back in the middle of the single prints. Remember, we had a double distribution day. Good part of yesterday's volume was put in KL and M. But we said this yesterday. We were ready to go and possibly test that weekly high when Trump came out with the tweet about holding off to after the election with the stimulus. And look what happened. Week longs, right? GHIJK all shook out. But more importantly than that, what I usually say is after the week longs get put to rest, the shorts pile in. Now, we did take out L's high yesterday, only to see it reverse and test the lows. But right now, above M's high, anybody who is short from these three time frames, from between 4 and 8 p.m., are now underwater, and they're covering. As he came out again with another tweet, saying possibly reversing what he was saying. No surprise. We have to know that every day now this market can get ripped by short-term algos one way or the other based on a simple headline or tweet. Be careful. So let's go over destinations and a game plan for this morning. So we had a price probe last night. That's being firmly rejected. L's low of 334.54. And remember, I said last night, the destinations are so far and wide apart that if this reverses, you could easily get back up where we were trading yesterday at that POC. Single prints, 337.13 to 338.66. Right now, my pre-market high is 338.23. Now, that doesn't mean anything. We have to fill them in the regular trading hours, but they're eating away at them pretty good. And then above that, we don't have anything until yesterday's high of 342.17. For the downside, we have 334.38, which is yesterday's low, and my pre-market low from last night, overnight low, 333.12. Remember, we had an outside day down, pretty bearish. Right now, that's being rejected. But the bottom line is this: unless buyers not only fill these single prints, but get accepted into the upper distribution, then nothing's really changed. This is where change took place. We talk about that a lot. Just like yesterday, I said D's high was very important because it was a total opposite from the day before. KL and M shot up. This is where change took place. And believe it or not, that change was really holding, right? We dipped into it in E period, but that was it. And we were going to highs of the day and possibly testing the 4-week balance high before that tweet came out. Well, it's the same thing this morning. This is where change took place. So unless buyers get accepted, not just filling the single prints, but get acceptance into yesterday's range and stay there, then nothing has really changed, and we might trade between where the single prints were and the lower distribution. So what's the game plan for this morning? With an hour to go, well, actually 70 minutes to go, there's a few things we could look at. If we open right in the middle of here, a put play would be a play for me early against these single prints. Because I just said this is where change took place. So unless they get filled and acceptance above, nothing's changed. So they get filled at 338.66. I'd probably look at a 339 put that expires today. I'd be a put play. If we fill the singles, can't get into F's range and reverse back, then I'm pretty in good shape with that put and see if we ride it down to M. That's one put play. Now, on the flip side, if we open either in the middle of the singles or lower, then M period comes into play. And you know how I feel about that. If you do not get accepted into M range, you can take a call play above here. We know how difficult it is in A period to see if acceptance happens. It might dip its toe in and come right back out. B period's a better guide. If you start one time framing up or you start one time framing down, you know if there's going to be more acceptance or not. But you can take a call play against M's high and basically be out if you get accepted, say, below L. It's about 15, 20 cents to see. Because if you get acceptance into here, odds are you'll trade the whole range. So that's a call play. If in B period you start say the single prints hold and you start one time framing down in B into M, then it's definitely a put play to see it ride the rails down to M's low. Again, these are two early plays. We'll be getting this up to the date trade scenarios and play-by-play throughout the trading day in CamelbackTrading.org's voice channel room while this is streaming live for you as you learn the market profile. So, chart-wise, weekly, we were about to attempt to get to that 340-306 level when that tweet derailed everything. Nothing's really changed right now. We're still one time framing up for 2 weeks, but I'm still calling it a balance. Still call it a 4 or 5 week balance. The daily is the big one. We have been back and forth through this 50-day moving average constantly now over the last 7 trading days. Thought we had basically won it by the bulls between Monday and Tuesday until that happened yesterday. Well, again, we're above it by about $3, $2.50, $3. That's the first goal, is to hold that 50. If they're able to do that, again, I said you could use this either as a 2-day balance or a 7-day balance. But regardless what you use it as, yesterday's high now will become a sticking point because now we have to take out yesterday's high. If we do that, if we take out yesterday's high and get acceptance, that 343.06 weekly high should fall. If you don't, then eventually you'll rotate back to the bottom of yesterday's low. All remains to be seen. Volume was pretty good yesterday, 90 million, but most of that came in the last 3 time frames. So this market is short. Remember, overnight inventory, if it is to be corrected, usually happens earlier rather than later. Now, one other quick thing, though, as far as that inventory goes. Right after the bell yesterday, from 4 o'clock to 8, overnight inventory was what? Short. It was below yesterday's close. This morning, overnight inventory is long. It's above. So now, for the most part, I would put that at neutral then. So if the overnight inventory is not long or short, then you might not look for much of a correction. This is the key. Do we get accepted out of the lower distribution and into the upper distribution? Good luck trading today. Have a great day, and we'll recap at 4 p.m.